So there's only about a month left in the NBA season, and we're at a point where many of the end of regular season award winners are narrowed down to a couple candidates. MVP is between Shea and Jokic and so on. And because things are nearing the end, playoffs about a month away, I think it's the perfect time to reflect on the 2024 NBA draft class. Yep, the class that so many GMs, so many scouts were dissing. It's a class that's widely been recognized as weak. And truth be told, they just haven't been that much exciting this season, especially in comparison to what's coming up in this next class headlined by Cooper Flag. However, even still, there are some hoopers worthy of discussion, and now that we've got a great sample size for many of the top picks among rookies, today we're going to identify the biggest weakness among some of these hoopers and what exactly it means for their career. A lot of times, just fixing up these flaws can transform NBA players. Bro, think back to someone like Giannis. Early in his career, he was a twig, not nearly strong enough to bully his way to buckets, bulldozing in the painted area how he does now. And the moment he grew into his frame, got some muscle in 2016, he won Most Improved Player the very next season. So yeah, with that being said, let me know which rookies stand out to you this year. Who has the most potential in your eyes? Why or why not? And yeah, man, really quick before I go any further. What's up, YouTube? Plug Speaks back with another video. If you're new, first of all, welcome. Go ahead and sub. Also like the video if you enjoy it. I upload quality basketball content and we're on the ground at 5K, so I most def appreciate it. But yeah, man, back to the video. So it's only right that the first hooper we discuss is the rookie of the year favorite, Spurs Stephon Castle. I ain't gonna lie, this man has got about one of the most well-rounded play styles in this draft class. As far as being able to do a little something on offense, but also strap up on defense, Stephon Castle is your guy, and it's probably the reason the Spurs picked him up. In the 70-ish games he's played, he's averaging just under 14 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds, shooting 42% from the field and 28% from 3 in about 26-ish minutes a game. Now, truth be told, for Rookie of the Year, these numbers aren't crazy. We've had Rookie of the Years averaging 20. But compared to his peers, ain't gonna lie, Stephon's spanking him. There's just not many rookies matching his production. And then beyond all of this, he plays with great pace. He's very well-rounded. Teammates like Chris Paul have only said great things about him. De'Aaron Fox damn near got in trouble for wanting to play with him. And yeah, Stephon Castle is the truth. But he can't shoot. We're talking about 28% shooting from 3, 70% on free throws. As a guard, those numbers are just not it. My guy, you're a guard. At 6'6", that's not really acceptable. So there needs to be more efficiency there. So yeah, the big weakness here is pretty clear cut. Otherwise, he's a bucket. But the shot needs improvement. Point blank simple. Next up is the Hawks' Zaccharie Risacher, the first pick that's simply been receiving no love. Ain't nobody been talking about this French prospect. What happened? I thought he was the next Wemby. But no, in all seriousness, he's been playing pretty well this year, especially after the All-Star break. If we just look at the numbers comparison on the screen, it may not seem like much, but above all else, he's shooting the ball at a much higher percentage, rebounding at a much higher level, and overall contributing to the Hawks' playoff hopes. He definitely moves pretty well for a 6'8" forward, and his game is pretty crafty. However, one of his biggest weaknesses gotta be the lack of size or muscle, and he's admitted this himself. Earlier in the season, he mentioned how in France, it was sweet. He was super athletic, fairly big, but in the NBA, he's damn near a regular dude. And this is obvious in how much he relies on jumpers rather than taking things to the cup, and also with how easy opponents can score on him. So yeah, I think it's pretty clear that for Zaccharie Risacher, I ain't saying he needs a crazy strength transformation like Giannis had, but if Brody can adjust to the NBA's physicality a bit more, things could get really interesting. Next, we got Memphis Grizzlies Zach Edey, the recent 9th overall pick, and someone who drew mass attention in college for how he dominated opponents. Like, there were legitimately some out there proclaiming him to be the best scorer in the NCAA. But Memphis did not draft Bro for that reason. I'd say it was more so for the defense he could provide in that Steven Adams sort of role they had a couple years back. And for the most part, he's been doing that. He's not very mobile, but his paint defense is definitely solid. He protects the rim down low, swatting shots in the paint, and it's been great. But see, on the other side of the ball, not so much. I know Memphis didn't pick him up to be their leading scorer, but Edey has been way too limited offensively, solely to back to the basket buckets. It's to the point where the team is introducing a developmental plan to help him branch out a bit. Like, this isn't Purdue. He was putting up 25 a game, really off the strength of the height advantage. But now that he's in the NBA, this has exposed a weakness. So really, he just needs a more thorough post game, and if he adds more post moves to his bag, it could get scary. Let me know what y'all think. Next, we got the Wizards' Alex Sarr, another 7-foot beast, another 7-foot behemoth. The most recent 2nd overall pick straight out of France. Man, the Alex Sarr conversation has been pretty dry this year. It's been pretty quiet. I mean, maybe it's because the Wizards suck, but he's definitely been doing a little something. Putting up 12 points, just under 7 rebounds, and nearly 2 blocks in 27-ish minutes a game. The Wizards mainly picked him up for his defense, and this has been something he's been delivering. But as a 7-footer, he's attempting almost 5 threes a game, bro. 5. You would think he must be a sniper, like he must be a stretch big. You know what I mean? Like, what's up with these centers trying to play small? He's shooting 32% from 3. A center especially should not be putting up that many threes if they're shooting such a poor percentage. So yeah, this is definitely a big weakness that needs fixing. Now, if Alex Sarr comes around in the next couple seasons with a more developed shot on some Karl-Anthony Towns type of flow, shoot as many threes as you want. But until then, let me know what y'all think, but there's really no place for it. Next up is Timberwolves' Rob Dillingham. Recent top 10 pick, young stud straight out of Kentucky. Y'all know Kentucky guards have a rich history of panning out. And so many people, including myself, thought Rob would get to the NBA and just start snapping, getting straight to it. However, head coach Chris Finch thought differently. He's been giving Rob less than 20 minutes a game. And yet, even still, Rob has had a couple nice games, just going microwave mode, scoring, showing his offensive skills. Anthony Edwards has been said he should be getting more minutes. But see, one of the reasons he's receiving less minutes than both a senior citizen Mike Conley and a pretty average Dante DiVincenzo simply comes down to defense. I mean, me personally, I think he should be receiving more playing time regardless. I think his offense makes up for it. But I would be lying to act as if his defense isn't mediocre at best. Standing at 6'3", many of his matchups are other dynamic guards, straight bucket getters. So situations where he simply gets blown by or just misses easy steals in the passing lane and just gets scored on easily definitely needs improvement. And if he can just improve his defense, get in that rotation a little bit more consistently, the world will see Rob Dillingham is cold. But moving on here, last but not least for today's video, I'll likely make a part 2 if there's interest. But for today's video, the last rookie we'll cover is Chicago Bulls Modest Buzelis. I know a lot of y'all were probably sleeping on Modest Buzelis. He wasn't really a big name out of the past NBA draft, but this stretch big has been hooping. Long story short, he's a 6'10 shot creator with some great stretch big two-way potential. His averages aren't crazy, only about 7 points a game, 3 rebounds, a block, shooting 43% from the field and 33% from 3. But if you simply watch him play, you will see the diamond in the rough. As I record this video, in his last game, he dropped 17 points, 9 rebounds, and a block, shooting 53% from the field and smacking 3 threes. So yes, great potential, but what is the weakness? He needs to grow into his frame. I mean, at 6'10", power forward, He's way too slim. I mean, it's very similar to the recommendation to Zaccharie Risacher. Like, if Brody can just bulk up, add some pounds, get some weight on him, we're talking about a potential Karl Anthony Towns type of player. DeMarcus Cousins in his prime, I can see it, but let me know what y'all think. So yeah, but with that being said, that's about it for this video. That is the biggest weakness for some of the most relevant rookies in this draft class. And y'all let me know what you think about some of the weaknesses I pointed out. What rookies should I include in the next video? How weak do you feel this draft class really is? And yeah, bro, I appreciate y'all watching, man. Like the sub, share, sub if new. I'll see y'all boys in the next one, and I'm out.